Alright guys, what's up? It's the Ascension of Babylon. What we do here is we talk about the occult, we talk about spiritual self-development, and we talk about the healing process. If that is your thing, absolutely subscribe if you have not done that already, and slam that like button because, why wouldn't you do that? I do believe that I am posting very valuable information. So with that being said, you don't need to do cleansings or clearings or, use sage or incense or different methods of trying to take negative energy out of your space. And this is something that's very popular in the occult space, whether a person identifies as a pagan, a witch, an occultist, a spiritualist, whatever it might be. There are many, many people that believe that this is something that they need to do. And I don't want to make this something that's either black or white, but I would say, for the most part, the kinds of people who are always needing to cleanse their space and to utilize these different spiritual modalities to take negative energy out of their space are coming from a space of self-rejection and self-denial. Because any negative energy in our space is not there randomly. It is actually a projection of us and how different parts of us are resonating, and even how our nervous system is resonating due to how these different parts of us are resonating. So everything in our reality is a projection of us reflecting itself back to us in the form of the tangible reality experience itself. And this is a great opportunity to get to know ourselves. Even if it's an abusive relationship, maybe it's a health problem, maybe you get fired from your job, maybe some other very uncomfortable experience manifests for you, it is all a projection of you that you are designing, we can even say on a higher self level, to better understand yourself and to help you see how you are creating your reality, and to help you see the main driving forces behind what is showing up, both positive and negative. So if there's negative energy that's showing up in the environment, rather than just trying to banish away the surface level, which is going to be the negative energy that a lot of people might sense in their space, and they're using sage, or they're using some ritual, or they're calling on some entity to get this energy out, which only temporarily solves the problem anyway. This is why people have to keep cleansing. I think it's much wiser to actually get to the root of what is creating that negative energy. That negative energy in the space is an extension of suppressed negative emotions that different parts of us are holding on to. And it's very likely that the kind of person who is over-identified with cleansing their space and getting rid of negative energy is just further trying to suppress these different parts of them that are in the resonance of trauma, and therefore are holding on to these negative emotions that they are not willing to process, and it shows through their spiritual practices. Negative energy is to be accepted, and it's something that can be transformed and transmuted if we see that negative energy from the lens of being a part of us or being connected to different parts of us. It is never random when a negative experience takes place, and if you're more on the psychic, intuitive side of things, it's never random when there's some kind of negative energy that's showing up in your space. What you're actually becoming aware of is the part of you that is generating that negative energy that is now lingering in your space. So this is really important to understand so you don't keep perpetuating the negative cycles of fighting against yourself by always needing to cleanse your space. Because what you're actually doing when you're doing this is you're feeding a protective adaptation response in your psyche that you developed from early childhood to help you bypass these other parts of you that are holding on to the memories and emotions of trauma that you went through during early childhood and that you probably kept going through up until now in the form of unfulfilling relationships, betrayal, abuse, health problems, and just negative experiences in general that are not only re-traumatizing you, but they're reflections of the trauma that originates from your early childhood, or even can go far back as intergenerational trauma that you inherited from your family line when you came into the world. So the negative energies in the environment, they are to be owned and seen as being in connection with the emotional resonance that certain parts of us are, holding on to or carrying. And if we don't own that negative energy, what is likely to happen, even if we can bypass these energies and convince ourselves that we're being authentic and we feel good and we're doing all these spiritual practices, so this must mean that we're aligned with who we truly are. Not only are we lying to ourselves, but we're also assuring that that negative energy that we're suppressing inside of us, it will find a way to manifest, because that's how energy works. Even if we suppress it and we convince ourselves it's not there, it's going to show up in our finances, it's going to show up at work, it's going to show up in relationships, connections with people, more intimate partnerships for sure. And this energy is just going to keep recycling through our lives, and then we're in a cycle to where we're going to keep denying it. We're going to keep wanting to suppress what we're actually feeling, once again perpetuating these negative cycles of living a life that we lie to ourselves and we're like, yup, we're being real, yup, we're happy, yup, we're fulfilled. But deep down, we're not actually fulfilled. We're not actually happy with ourselves because we've abandoned and betrayed parts of ourselves. How can we abandon and betray parts of us and be in denial to their existence, but yet we're operating from the whole of what we are? We're operating, in a way that's actually fulfilling to us. If we're doing this, we're not actually operating from wholeness. We are operating from separation to where we're not seeing the external environment as a projection of us, and we're operating from fragmentation because we're not actually intending to reintegrate these different parts that are associated with the shadow self, the very parts of us that are attracting negative experiences to us and negative energies that some people sense in their environment, and they're wanting to sage away. They're wanting to clear away. So this is what I wanted to share in this video. It was not meant to be a long video, but this is what I wanted to share. If you watched the video all the way through, thank you very much. I certainly appreciate you being here, and I'm sure you gained value, from what I shared today.